Imagine for a moment that you're standing at the edge of a cliff, looking out over an endless ocean. The horizon stretches before you like an unyielding blue ribbon, and the waves crash below with rhythmic precision. Now, picture yourself taking just one small step forward, barely even noticing the movement. You might not feel it immediately after all. One tiny step isn't going to make a difference, right? But what if that single step was actually the beginning of a journey across the sea? What if each subsequent step, no matter how minuscule, carried you closer and closer to your destination? Welcome to the world of atomic habits. This is not about grand gestures or sweeping changes. It's about those small steps we often overlook, the ones that make all the difference in our lives over time. In James Clear's book Atomic Habits, he delves into the science behind why tiny changes can lead to monumental results, and how these seemingly insignificant actions can build up to transform our habits, our health, our careers, and ultimately, our success. Think about it this way: have you ever noticed that the most successful people around you don't necessarily start their day with a bang? They might not be waking up at 4 a.m. every morning or spending hours in the gym. Instead, they've cultivated a series of small, consistent habits that gradually add up to something extraordinary. It's like they're building an invisible staircase, one step at a time, until one day, they find themselves much higher than they ever imagined. The beauty of atomic habits is their simplicity. They don't require a dramatic overhaul or massive transformation. Instead, they ask us to focus on the small things, the little decisions we make every day that can either move us forward or hold us back. It's about choosing to read one extra page before bed, or standing up for 5 minutes during a long meeting. These might seem like insignificant actions, but when compounded over time, they create a powerful force of change. But why do these tiny habits have such an impact? The answer lies in our brain chemistry and psychology. When we perform a new action repeatedly, it becomes easier and more automatic. This process is called myelination, where the connections between neurons in our brains become stronger and faster with practice. Essentially, our brains are designed to form habits as a way of conserving energy and making decisions more efficiently. So when we cultivate good habits, our brain starts to reward us for doing them, creating a positive feedback loop that makes it even easier to continue. Moreover, atomic habits create momentum. Once you start forming these small, consistent actions, they begin to build upon each other. It's like rolling a snowball down a hill. At first, it's just a small ball of snow, but with each turn and descent, it picks up speed and size until it becomes an unstoppable force. In the same way, those tiny steps we take every day can gather momentum, propelling us forward towards our goals. But here's the thing: atomic habits work both ways. Just as good habits can lead to success, bad ones can hold us back or even sabotage our progress. The key is recognizing and replacing these negative habits with positive ones that align with our goals. It's not about eradicating all our flaws or being perfect, it's about making small improvements consistently. So, as we dive deeper into the world of atomic habits, let's keep this metaphor in mind. The journey across the sea begins with just one step. And each step we take, no matter how small, is a step towards achieving something extraordinary. In the pages ahead, we'll explore how to identify and build these atomic habits, how to break bad ones, and how they can transform our lives in ways we never thought possible. This isn't just about making minor changes, it's about creating a foundation for long-term success that will stand the test of time. So, let's dive deeper into the science behind how habits form and how we can build good ones. Imagine your brain is like a garden. Just like a gardener needs to tend to their plants, you need to nurture your habits if you want them to flourish. The process of habit formation involves several key components: cue, craving, response, and reward. First up, the cue. This is the trigger that tells your brain to go into automatic mode and let a behavior unfold. It could be something as simple as seeing your running shoes by the door or hearing the alarm clock ring in the morning. Cues can be powerful because they activate existing neural pathways in your brain. Think of these pathways like well-trodden paths in a forest. The more you use them, the easier it is to follow them. Next, there's the craving. This is the anticipation of the reward that motivates you to act. It could be as simple as the feeling of satisfaction from crossing an item off your to-do list or the endorphin rush from exercising. The craving is what gets you out of bed when it's dark outside or keeps you focused on a task even when you're tired. Without a strong enough craving, the cue might not lead to action. The response is the behavior itself, the action that you take in response to the cue and your desire for the reward. This could be as small as flossing your teeth or as big as starting a new project at work. The key here is consistency. Each time you perform the response, you strengthen the neural connections associated with that behavior, making it easier to do next time. And finally, there's the reward. This is where the magic happens. This is what makes the loop complete and teaches your brain that this particular behavior is worth remembering for the future. The reward could be tangible, like a piece of chocolate after a workout, or intangible, such as the feeling of pride from accomplishing a goal. Now, here's the fascinating part. The more frequently you repeat this loop cue, craving, response, reward, the stronger it becomes. This is where atomic habits come into play. Atomic habits are small behaviors that seem insignificant on their own but can lead to massive transformations when compounded over time. For example, if you read just one page of a book each day, you'll have read 365 pages in a year without even noticing the effort. One of the critical factors in building good habits is understanding how our environment influences us. We are heavily influenced by our surroundings. Think about how easy it is to grab a snack when it's right in front of you versus having to go out of your way for one. By structuring your environment to make good habits easy and bad habits hard, you can significantly increase the likelihood that you perform those good behaviors consistently. Another important aspect is making habits as simple as possible. If you try to start a complex habit all at once, it's much harder to stick with it. Instead, start small. For example, if your goal is to meditate daily, begin by setting aside just 1 minute per day. Once that becomes effortless, gradually increase the time. This incremental approach not only makes it easier to form the habit but also builds momentum and confidence. Lastly, don't be too hard on yourself when you slip up. Perfection isn't necessary for success. Consistency is key. Sometimes you might miss a day or two of your habit, but that doesn't mean you should give up entirely. Instead, acknowledge the setback, learn from it, and get back on track as soon as possible. Each missed opportunity to perform the behavior is simply an indication that the habit isn't quite cemented yet. In essence, building good habits is a process of creating new neurological pathways in your brain through consistent repetition. By understanding the science behind this process and applying these principles to your daily life, you can start to build a foundation for long-term success. Remember, it's not about making huge changes overnight, it's about making small, incremental improvements over time that add up to something remarkable. So, as we delve deeper into James Clear's Atomic Habits, it becomes clear that overcoming bad habits and creating lasting change is not just about willpower or motivation, but a systematic approach grounded in understanding how our behaviors are formed and reinforced. The book emphasizes the idea of small wins that compound over time to create significant shifts in our lives. One key strategy is to identify your keystone habits, those pivotal actions that can trigger other beneficial changes. For example, starting each day with exercise might not only improve your fitness but also boost your mood and productivity throughout the rest of the day. Another powerful concept introduced is the idea of creating an environment conducive to good habits. This means making it easy for yourself to do what's right and hard to do what's wrong. Imagine if you had a bowl of fresh fruit front and center in your kitchen and a bag of chips hidden away. Chances are, you'd reach for the fruit more often. Similarly, removing distractions from your workspace can make it easier to focus on important tasks. Clear also stresses the importance of making habits obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying, which he refers to as the 4 laws of behavior change. By making habits obvious, we ensure they're top of mind. By making them attractive, we increase our desire to do them. By making them easy, we remove barriers that might prevent us from following through. And by making them satisfying, we reinforce the behavior with positive feedback. This process turns good habits into second nature. One of the most compelling aspects of Clear's approach is his emphasis on the power of habit stacking, linking a new habit to an existing one you already do regularly. For instance, if you want to start meditating but find it hard to remember to do so each day, try adding meditation at the end of your morning shower routine. Over time, this association becomes automatic, and before you know it, you're effortlessly incorporating mindfulness into your life. The book also highlights the importance of patience and persistence in cultivating good habits. Change is a journey, not a destination. There will be setbacks, and that's okay. The key is to learn from these setbacks and keep moving forward. Clear shares stories of people who have overcome massive obstacles through small, consistent changes, which serves as both inspiration and a realistic blueprint for success. Moreover, the concept of deliberate practice is crucial in developing expertise in any area. This involves setting specific goals, receiving feedback, and focusing on continuous improvement. Whether it's mastering a new skill or improving an existing one, deliberate practice helps refine our abilities over time, making us more competent and confident in what we do. Lastly, Clear encourages readers to think about their identity in the context of their habits. When you view yourself as someone who exercises regularly, eats healthily, and reads daily, it becomes easier to act in ways that align with those beliefs. Your identity is not static, but something you can shape through your actions and choices. In conclusion, Atomic Habits is a game changer for anyone looking to make meaningful, lasting changes in their life. It provides a practical, science-backed framework for understanding the intricacies of habit formation and offers actionable strategies to overcome bad habits and build good ones. By embracing the principles outlined in this book, you can transform your daily routine into a path of continuous improvement, leading to greater success and fulfillment. So whether you're looking to improve your health, career, or relationships, Atomic Habits is an invaluable guide that will equip you with the tools and mindset needed to achieve your goals. It's not just about making changes, it's about building a life where those changes happen naturally, effortlessly, and sustainably.